guessing the spellings of names and places in the Stormlight Archive based solely on the pronunciations of the narrators in the audiobooks. Because I can't read physical books or ebooks, the audiobooks are my only option. And so this is what I've always had in my head as the spellings for the books in the Stormlight Archive. So here they are. This is how I think Cal is spelled. It seems fairly simple. The next is Shallan. I've got two spellings that I have possible spellings in my head, and both of these spellings is what I thought for all four of the first books in the Stormlight Archive. But then in Wind and Truth, in the fifth one, Shallan makes a pun about her own name, pair of L's, parallels or something like that. And so I now know technically there are two L's in her name. So my version of the spelling is not how it's spelled, but I still have these versions in my head. Silfrena, Patton, Dalinar, Colin. Now, so I've put a line across the O to make, because otherwise it would just be Colin. I can't work out how else that could be spelled. And I've used that line because when you're parsing the feet of dactylic hexameter in ancient Greek, the sponde, which is the long line, shows a longer sound, a longer syllable. So that's why I've done that. Adolin. Now, the reason I've done this is because the narrators are American, and because in American pronunciation, often T is pronounced as a D. So when instead of saying water, it sounds more like water. And so my brain automatically sort of translates D sounds into T spellings. So you wouldn't spell water as water, W-A-D-E-R. You'd spell it water, W-A-T-E-R. So in my head I thought it was actually spelled Adolin, but it's Adolin, I think. And so that was my version. The next one's Renarin, Nervani, Yasna, Elokar, Teft, Rock, the Lopen, Scar, and then a few more slightly more complicated ones: Drehi, Leighton, Sigzil, Rushu, Teravangian, Risson, Babsk, Queenfen, Eshenai, Venli, Jaxlim, I don't know which one it is, I can't hear the difference, Relaine, and I don't know if it's Dabit or Dabbit, again, the American accent, I can't tell if it's spelled with a T or a D because of how they pronounce their T's and D's. And I don't know if the character is called Food or Food. It would seem a bit silly to call a character Food with an F, but it always does when I'm trying to listen really hard to see if it's the F or the TH. It always does sound like an F. But anyway, and the next is the Zeth Sun Volano, and this is how I thought it was spelled for the first four books of the Stormlight Archive. And then in the fifth, I realised it wasn't spelt sun as in S-U-N, but sun as in son of. And so when it's saying son Volano, it means it's the grandson of. And the reason I realised this is because of all the bits with Zeth in Wind and Truth. And it was like Zeth's son Natoro, as in he was the son of Natoro. So yes, so I know that's technically incorrect, but that's how I had it in my head all that time. Swordnimi, Leshwe, Raboniel, Moraes, Amaram, Sadius, Sabariel, Pelona, Gavilar. And then we come on to the names of places: Alethkar, Kolinar, Yakoved, Thalinar, Thalin City, Eurothiru. I mean, who knows? That's my best guess. Azir, Herdaz, Shinovar, Karbranth, Emul, Tukar, Natan, the Reshi Isles, the Pure Lake and Vatenar. How did I do? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please consider going to gofundme.com/SaveJenny, where I'm fundraising for life-saving neurosurgery. Thank you.